There's a speed limit in this state, Mr. Neff. 45 miles an hour.
How fast was I going, officer?
I'd say around 90.
But what about us?
Memories. You're talking about memories.
Good, now have a drink.
I don't want anything of his or any part of it.
Except his life.
I wonder if I know what you mean.
I wonder if you wonder.
Played it for her, you play it for me. I lived a few weeks while she loved me. Waiting for a lady. Someday you'll understand that.
Got some news that's going to take a lot of tension off you and Laura.
Stop it, Dix. I can't take any more of this.
I should be in it for you.
You know the story?
What story?
Maybe because he was drunk.
Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but soon and for the rest of your life.
Well, I'll give her the message.
But they're asleep all over America.
Welcome to the Speakeasy Noir Cast, a podcast discussing film noirs of yesterday and neo-noirs of today. Each week, we will deliver a discussion and analysis of classic and neo-noir films, all mixed in with our unintelligible banter. Your hosts for the show, Carly Street and Jason D. Morris. Good evening, Carly.
That was creepy.
That was my, I can't think of the character's name. Oh my God. Sesame Street, Dracula,
Oh
the
no.
number guy. One.
Oh, is it? Yeah.
It's not Captain Crunch. I was going to say Count Chocula, but it's the cereal guy.
Oh my God.
Yes. I don't know his name. Anyway, it was a terrible impression of him anyway. So how are things going out there in the UK?
Raining again.
It's raining again. Okay. Well, I mean, hey, that's better than having COVID.
Just been outside. Yeah.
I love the rain. You hate the rain though, right?
True. Very true.
Well, move.
Well, I would. I'm not allowed out the country. That's because I see it every day.
Well, not every day. Package yourself up and ship yourself,
You know what? I think I bloody could.
I mean, it's more likely.
Get a rowboat to work.
I watched this documentary about COVID in the UK. Good old Boris was on there, and he was so dramatic. It was funny. I mean, the whole thing was very dramatic, and
He is very dramatic.
yeah, but it was based in London, so not too far from you.
Miles.
What? Miles? Oh, not that far. You're like, what'd you say, 2 hours?
Miles away.
You're just trying to distance yourself from.
It's like 2 hours, and there's all the underground stuff.
Oh goodness.
No, I don't like that
Poor
place.
Carly. We're in our third lockdown right now. You're in your third?
I think so.
Yeah.
We had a lockdown that wasn't a lockdown, but then it turns out it was a lockdown.
Yeah.
This is our like official third stay in your house lockdown.
This is official.
Yeah, the other one was like, please don't leave the house unless you have to do everything that means leaving the house.
And now you can't leave the house at all?
Well, I think that must be next, to be able to wave at people through the bloody window. We could leave the house to go to work and go shopping, and then lots of places are click and collect.
You're still at work?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
I know.
So some sad news. Matt, composer that worked on Millennium Apocalypse and Dark Winter and various other projects that we've done. His grandmother just passed away from COVID.
Oh, what a shame.
Yeah. So he's, kind of tore up. He just had a loss, last year with his father passing away. That hit him pretty hard, and now his grandmother's passed away. And it's kind of shitty because, honestly, it's really his mom's fault. She contracted it and knowingly still went about going places and doing things and spreading it around, and went to grandma. She lives they live in the same little complex, like a retiree complex, So they have apartments right next to each other. And even though she knows she got it, she was still going over to her mom's house and gave it to her, and she ended up passing away. It's just really horrible.
That's shocking.
Yeah. I don't know. I wish people would be a little more safer and less careless about it and more respectful of other people. It's kind of horrible. But, so out here, things are in California, which I would have been surprised, but these days I'm just not surprised about anything anymore. But California is just on fire with COVID. It's one of the worst states right now, particularly LA.
Really? Well, we're the worst country in the world, apparently.
Are you really? Oh boy.
Yeah, right there with you. So
yeah, it's crazy. It's just, I don't know.
But I mean, if you saw the sample of the people I deal with at work, you'd understand. They can't even stand in a square. They're like children. You'd probably have you'd easier time in a play school. It's like stand on the yellow square and they're like, they won't stand on the yellow square. They have to put their foot just off it. Get on the yellow square. You get on the yellow square. I'm on my yellow square. You get on your yellow square. You are about 67. Get on the square. Well, if I don't want to get on the square, then get out the shop. Shouldn't be here anyway. Get in your house.
I know exactly what you mean. It's like...
That's my day. That's my day at work every day.
Going to the grocery store, it's the same way. You'd be standing in line and they have these like little sticker things on the floor that are separated 6 feet. And the idea is that you stand on the sticker. People just can't seem to fucking do it. And they're just acting like it's normal. Like to just, stand close to each other like they're normally doing. It's like, come on, learn people, learn.
It's like they're playing The Floor is Lava with the stickers that you've got to stand on. Right. I can't go in there. It's a trap door. No, that's where you're meant to be. Get on that. And then when they come to the counter, even though there's a perspex glass, like plastic, they're trying to lunge around the side of it. What are you doing? Get too far over this counter. They're going to put a T-shirt on you and make you work. Get off. Get away.
Children are horrible with like standing in line and doing things like that, but they're a hell of better than adults are.
Yeah, at least they're young. My God. And then they're coming at you with bits of plastic. Like, where's that been? In my toilet. Well, get it away from me, please. I don't want that right now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a crazy world right now. It's supposed to be getting better, but it's not. It's getting worse. I mean, we have the vaccine. You guys have the vaccine as well, right? It's manufactured over there, isn't it? Or at least one of them. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Is it rolling out faster or better for you guys than it does us, or is it happening?
I wouldn't like to comment on that, to be honest, because they say it's around, and I've seen, I think, one person on Facebook that's had it. That's it.
Oh boy. Out here, it's like you have to be 65 or older to get it, or have, I guess, being what do you call it? I'm trying to trying not to say old folks home, but an old folks home. If you're at a convalescent hospital or something like that, I guess.
So if you like work in the hospitals or something like that.
Yeah, I guess it's like first responders, people over 65, or if you're in a convalescent hospital, you can get it, but you can't otherwise. And apparently they're so understaffed and underfunded in order to distribute the vaccines. They have the vaccines. They have plenty of them apparently, but they're understaffed, underfunded. They can't get them out to people. So they're, I guess, calling on dentists and I don't know, veterinarians or some, I don't know, just other, adjacent medical professions in order to help vaccinate people.
Drug dealers, maybe? Anyone that's drug addicts? Anyone that can handle a needle? Do you want to report down to this shop at this time?
Are you a drug dealer? Do you shoot up?
Have you ever
Come
shot
serve
up?
your country.
Yeah.
I could see a Paul Verhoeven movie coming in about 10 years.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know if I'd want a dentist prodding me with the bloody needle.
I don't want anybody prodding me with a needle, but I mean, I'm not scared of needles, but I've had a bad experience giving blood, where this woman stuck me so many times in one of my arms that my arm like swelled it up, swelled it up.
Got bigger.
Whatever the word is. Got big, not in a good way. And I like almost fainted.
Oh,
it was a terrible blood giving experience. So anyways, I'm not scared of needles, but that experience like scarred me. It actually literally scarred me because I still have one of the holes in my arm you can see. So I didn't get a cookie or orange juice either. That pissed me off.
that sucks. I don't like needles.
Yeah, I don't mind them. I did recently go to a dentist, though, speaking of dentists, and they had to do like some, I don't know what you call it, drill one of my back teeth or whatever. A long time ago, I had teeth like break through, like a molar like come through and break another tooth. Anyway, the guy that gave me the shot, he gave me like 6 shots on the side of my face. And oh my God, I'm like, the first one obviously didn't work because I could feel every single shot after. Man, getting a shot in your gums like is no joke. That shit hurts. Dentists.
Yuck.
Should have been a dentist just to torture people.
That's what it is. They're like just like serial killers that don't kill people. They're like the prelude to Hannibal.
All right, let's get into the Jesus. Let's get.
Still had that in your face. You're right.
Let's get into a nice drink, Harley. Let's get into tonight's drink. I need to think about what I'm saying before I say it. That might help.
No, it don't. It's funnier when you don't.
All right. This tonight's drink has nothing to do with anything other than I just found it and it sounded awesome. And I'm not sure if you're gonna like it because you don't seem to like much other than gin and tonic.
Yeah, pretty much.
But this drink is called a Maple New York Sour, and I like sweet and sours. I think they're awesome. And I like most drinks that use like a sweet and sour like mixed to it as well. Things like a lemon drop or whiskey sour or something like that. So this one caught my eye, but it looks amazing. Like if you look up a picture of Maple New York Sour, it looks awesome. This drink, hold on, I gotta find my ingredients list.
I'm going to look for it. What is it? A Maple New York Sour?
Yeah.
I'm going to look for a picture. It better be good.
It looks great.
It looks weird. It's 2 different colours.
Yeah, right? So the ingredients are 2 ounces of rye whiskey or bourbon. I would use the bourbon because I don't really like rye whiskey. A little too strong for me. 1 ounce of fresh lemon juice. I also don't like lemon juice, but I'm willing to give it a shot.
I mean, there's a lot of things that you're not keen on so far.
It is, but at least I'm not just sticking to gin because I hate gin. I don't know. I have this huge bottle of gin sitting over here because you recommended it and I never really had it before. And I can't fucking drink it.
It makes me sick to think of that bottle just sat there collecting dust.
Weird taste to it. It makes, I don't know. All right, 2 to 3 4 teaspoons. Hold on a second. 2 to 4 teaspoons of maple syrup.
Sinister.
And a half ounce of fruity red wine. So I guess a red wine that's on the fruitier side, which I haven't come up against many of those, but maybe a blended wine might work. Or a port, could be pretty syrupy. I'm not sure if you'd want that with the syrup as well, but it's, doesn't give you too much to go on other than a fruity red wine. 2 ounces of bourbon, 1 ounce of fresh lemon juice, 2 to 4 teaspoons of maple syrup to taste, whatever you like, and a half ounce of fruity red wine. God, fruity red wine.
Fruity red wine.
Say it 5 times fast. So, instructions. Fill a cocktail shaker or mason jar, about 2/3 full with ice. Pour in the whiskey, the lemon juice, and maple syrup. Securely fasten the lid and shake for about 30 seconds. So you don't need a shaker, I guess. You just put it in your glass and shake it. Interesting. Pour fresh ice onto your cocktail glass. Strain. Oh no, I guess you do use a shaker. I guess their instructions here are a little off. So put all the contents into a shaker, shake it, strain it into your cocktail glass. Strain the cold whiskey sour mixture into the glass. Slowly pour the wine over the back of the spoon, held just above the drink's surface, so it has a nice layered effect. Oh, that's interesting. All right, so you turn your spoon over to the rounded edge and pour the wine over it, and I guess it creates that separation that you're seeing in the image.
Can you imagine trying to make that when you're already drunk?
That'd probably make it fun.
Why is the counter red and sticky?
They do have a note here about the wine. Look for wine descriptions that suggest notes of cherry, plum, and berries. And if you should find a winner, I just can't read. And you should find a winner. Jesus Christ. I just quit. I should quit now. I just wouldn't use a particularly spicy or dry red wine here. I use an organic 2014 Cabernet Sauvignon from Trader Joe's, label rare earth. Okay. I'm sure you don't have Trader Joe's out there. I don't know. Maybe you do.
No.
It's one of those organic food stores. I don't know if you have those. But anyway. So it sounds good. It looks good. I can't wait to try this out. It's super high in calories, so beware. It's like almost 300 calories. So if you're watching your weight like I am, that's not good for you, but it's worth a shot. All right, guys. So that's your drink for tonight. Give it a shot and let us know what you think of it. And here's the trailer for tonight's movie.
Most people I know are trying to get out of this place.
Sunny would do anything for a new life.
Dad, let go of me.
Anywhere.
What the hell is that?
Away from here.
Shut up!
And her ticket out has finally arrived.
What's your story, Thomas?
A man looking for a new start.
Close the time, Doc.
Are you a doctor? I was.
In a dead-end town.
You know how to make a slow, comfortable screw?
You are wicked.
You have no idea.
He's her husband. Maybe you could help.
All right, I cut your brother up on a dining room table. He's gonna need serious antibiotics.
Any idea where we can get those?
Will you help me? You can take me back to LA with you.
I came here to lay low, all right? I think in the last 24 hours I committed like 7 parole violations, and now you want me to just skip town?
Think about it, Thomas. It could be amazing.
I don't trust him. I don't like the way he's always looking at Sonny.
What if he never woke up? Then we wouldn't have to keep looking over our shoulders for the rest of our lives.
I don't know if I can do that.
But he wouldn't even be alive if you hadn't come along and messed with fate.
Well, you just think you're so smart, don't you?
Oh, shit.
Put the gun down.
Vincent Ventresca. Brian Austin Green. Alexandra Holden. Nicholas Turturro. And Greg Henry. Purgatory Flats.
So Carly, give us your let's cue the music. Carly's dramatic in a nutshell music.
God.
And now it's time for Carly's super famous in a nutshell synopsis.
I don't know which one to do first. The one that's going to annoy you or the other one?
I think you should do the one that will annoy me.
Okay. I'm really hoping it's going to trigger you.
Me too. I can't wait.
Yeah. I'll be disappointed if it doesn't. Okay. Ross's inappropriate girlfriend from Friends leads the invisible man towards a deadly web of intrigue, murder, and double cross.
Why would that piss me off? That's hilarious.
I just seemed like a really millennial way to describe it.
Well, I mean, Friends isn't really a millennial show, so it's cool. I never watched Friends, but I did watch that episode. So, I mean, I'm cool with that. You got to give me the other version. That's probably going to piss me off more.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe not.
Still going to be disappointed now. The other one was fresh out of jail. A doctor quite literally takes a trip to purgatory and gets caught up in its sinister loop of bad decision-making.
There you go. That's more of a noir synopsis there. That's perfect. But I did like your other one. It was very, very funny.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to shout like, "He's not the Invisible Man. His name's Vincent."
I man to those in the know. Interesting tidbit. My first feature film that I directed, I shot in this old Victorian house up in Tracy, which is not Tracy. What was the town? Oh my God, I can't even think of the name of the town right now. It's right next. It's like
there's a house
it's
somewhere.
in my fucking backyard. It was at a winery called the Canyon Vineyard, and they had this house that was just sitting there, right? That they weren't using. It was this beautiful looking Victorian house, and you go inside, and it's like it has not been really maintained. It needs help, right? And we're like, oh my God, this is perfect. So we were doing a horror film. It was called Hell House. And we shot in this place for almost 30 days. And then after we did this, I found out that there was another movie already shot there like a year or two before called Dead and Breakfast, which was sort of, I mean, it was, the tagline of the movie was America's answer to Shaun of the Dead.
Oh, cool.
I love Shaun of the Dead, but this should not have been the answer to Shaun of the Dead.
Oh no.
Yeah. It's fun. It's a fun movie, but it's nowhere. It's, you know, I think even Carrie Fisher's in it. There's a whole bunch of people in this movie. And Vincent Ventresca was in it. Which I was like, oh my God, I shot in a location.
Oh my God, his feet were here. Oh my God, I wonder if his hand touched this piece of wallpaper. Let me see if I can prize it off. I've had a look of his hair.
No, but I mean, I shot that in 2008. So, you know, it's been quite a while, but I don't know. I just thought that was cool, and it was a fun movie. And I had actually already seen it. I just didn't know that was the house it was shot at. So it was really cool to go through and shoot my own movie in a lot of the same rooms that you see in this other film. They had more money, and you know their movie's probably better, but it was still pretty neat. So, anyways, but
you've got like a lock of his hair, so
no, not that crazy. But I am a fan of the guy. I think he's fantastic. He has got tremendous comedic ability, like timing. He's also got that sort of like cool guy leading man thing going on. So there's a lot of different aspects to him too. He can play super goofy as well. So he's got a nice range. And I actually tried to cast him in another film that I did in 2011 called Betrayal, but my producing partner sort of forced another actor on us. Which, you know, was sad because Vincent would have been perfect. It was the sort of Italian right-hand man gangster guy. I don't know what the right terminology is.
I really hope when you pitched it to him, you weren't like, it's a gangster right-hand man dude with hair.
It's the leather Guido dude. Can you do that? I think that's probably a slur.
Are you in?
But no, yeah, so that didn't work out, but I don't know, maybe something in the future, you know, we can use him in because he's pretty amazing to me. He's severely underutilized, in my opinion. And he showed up in some.
I like him a lot.
Yeah, he showed up in Monk. That was a fun episode that he was in. He's done a lot of TV stuff, but yeah, he's great. I mean, you didn't even know who he was. Like, I had a hard time getting you to watch Invisible Man.
No idea. I had no idea at all for ages. I would just go, yeah.
Yeah, more people need to know.
Well, we were talking about Travis.
Yeah, Travis for Room
remember,
19.
you really wanted for Travis.
Yeah, I would love
and I didn't know who the hell he was. Yep. And then I accidentally watched the entire 2 seasons of The Invisible Man.
Accidentally.
And then I was like, it was an accident. It just kept rolling. And then I was like, oh, I love this dude. We have to get him for Room 19. Yeah, I'm totally on board. And then all of a sudden you were like, I've seen this other guy. And I'm like, what? Got me hooked. Now this is happening.
He's
Make it happen. I don't care what you do. Tell him lies. I don't care.
Well, I do have a friend that knows him. So I could try. I mean, I could just contact his agent again, like I did last time. That went over, fine. But I do have a friend that is friends with him. And actually, at one point, they had me making his social media stuff, but he's not like a social media guy. Like I guess he's not on Facebook or any of that crap. But he was, I guess, at one point wanting to, or she was trying to get him into it. So she had me design his Twitter account and his Facebook account and stuff like that. But he just never did anything with it. So who knows? Maybe we can.
Technically, they owe you a favor.
Yeah. Maybe. But yeah, so maybe one day we'll get him in something. But and then obviously Brian Austin Green is in this, who's from 90210. I was pretty surprised by him in this. I thought he did pretty well. He seemed to play somebody different than he normally does. And I don't particularly care for him. Anything else I've seen him in. Definitely wasn't a 90210 fan. Sorry, Troy.
Yeah, sorry, Troy.
I was forced to watch it a lot because my sister, obviously watched it.
Oh, yeah, that old chestnut.
Yeah. So, but, he did a pretty good job. He surprised me. He plays, sort of like the hot-headed thug of the film, among many, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, I'm going to go back a little bit to the year that this movie was made. There's literally no information out there that I can find on this film, other than the year it was made and when it was released. It was shot originally in 2003, and I'm assuming that Ventresca is in it because he was just coming off of The Invisible Man. I think that ended in the end of 2002 or end of 2001, something like that. And then he did, because Sci-Fi Channel canceled the show. Like the show had amazing ratings. It was going into syndication. They were at Comic-Con every year. It had a huge following.
And it was really good.
Yeah, it was. But it was huge for, that time period. It was like their number one show. But it was expensive to make because of the invisibility special effects, right? So Sci-Fi, I guess, had somebody come in and replace whoever runs their programming or something like that. And they had decided to cancel it. And instead they picked up Stargate SG-1. And I don't understand that move if it had to do with special effects being too expensive. Like that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
But that's what was said. Because there's a lot of special effects in Stargate as well. Plus, Richard Dean Anderson. I mean, I'm sure he commanded more of a paycheck as well as.
I would imagine so. They're not all of the cast of flipping The Invisible Man.
Yeah. I mean, Paul Ben Victor is a well-known actor that's been around for years. So I'm sure he got a pretty good paycheck in that show, and Hobbs in Invisible Man. But Eddie Jones, he was he's a character actor. He shows up in a lot of feature films. He's since passed away last year, I believe it was. But everybody else, I think, was relatively unknown. Although the keeper, I can't remember her name right now, is married to that dude whose name I can't remember.
Who was in that show about that thing?
No, he was in. I know what show he's in. He was in Lost. And
yeah, wasn't he in one of the Batman films?
Oh, I don't know about the Batman
He was the mayor, wasn't he? He was the mayor in one of the Batman films.
Possibly, yeah.
The Christopher Nolan ones.
Maybe, I'm not sure. But he was also in the Bates Motel TV show. He played the cop.
Oh, I like
the dude that has like the permanent eyeliner in his eyes,
Yes.
Anyway, she's married to him. And I know he's got like a new show or something. I've seen him in. I can't remember what it is. But anyway. Now I went off on a fucking tangent. I don't know what the hell I was talking about. Oh, getting back to the year the show was made. No, the movie was made. So I think Ventresca, so he came off Invisible Man and he did this like series of movies for Sci-Fi Channel. I think there was like 3 or 4 movies that he did for them. It was like their way of paying him back for canceling his show, which is a really shitty thing to do because longevity with a TV show is, I think, way more powerful, or can be, especially in today's world, than, a couple low budget sci-fi movies. But
yeah,
it looks like this movie was made right there at that time. So I don't know if it was originally meant to be sort of part of Sci-Fi's new programming, because this is about the time where they started the Sci-Fi Channel. I don't know if you guys get it out there in the UK, but they started doing some really weird crap. All of a sudden they started playing wrestling, and they started having like action movies, and there was all kinds of like different crap on there that had nothing to do with sci-fi. And then
strange
their
for
new
the Sci-Fi
flagship
Channel.
Yeah, it's weird. And they changed their name from like the actual spelling of sci-fi to SYFY, which is all weird. I don't know. The whole thing was weird. All from this new, lead of, the Sci-Fi Channel person did all this weird stuff. So I'm wondering if this might have been a project that was meant to sort of fit into that, because another weird thing about this movie was it was shot for television. Like it's shot in a 1:3:3 format, which is the, square framing. Wasn't shot in widescreen, which is very strange for 2003, because almost everything by that time had switched to widescreen filming. And this
got a TV movie feel to it, hasn't it?
Yeah, it does. And I honestly think that the reason why has a lot to do with the music in the movie. I think that the cinematography is decent, and I think the acting is decent, and I think the story is definitely not made for TV type of story. Like that's the one thing that sort of throws me off, because it's sort of like a risque sort of like storyline. There's drugs, there's sex, there's all kinds of stuff in this that's not, doesn't scream made for TV, maybe made for like Showtime or something like that. But that's the only thing that kind of throws me off, because it does feel like a made for TV kind of movie. But I chalk that up to the music. I think the music in this movie is terrible, and that's the one fault I think it has. Because they really stuck with this sort of like backwater sort of southern twangy country feel.
Yeah.
And it
does kind of cheapen it a little bit.
Yeah, and like I get it. He went to a small town, but I mean, don't need that sort of twangy music every 5 seconds. It's like
no.
And I feel like Ventresca's performance in this is way, way better than the movie is. Like there's just certain scenes where it's just like he's really great in it, but the way it's edited and the way it's just sort of put together just doesn't serve the acting at all. And that happens with a couple of the characters, really. And so there's little things like that kind of get on my nerves, but still, for the time that it was shot, and it being that sort of neo-noir kind of film, I thought the story of it was perfect. Like it completely falls within the noir category, from the femme fatale to the lead sort of down and out guy. It just getting entwined with this whole love story thing. I mean, all of it just sort of, it's perfect for a noir film.
Yeah, I agree. I liked it. I like that a lot.
Yeah. But getting back to the 2003 shooting time frame, strangely, this film wasn't released until 2010. Don't know
It's a
why.
long time to have a film sat there, isn't it?
It's a long time, yeah. That's like 7 years. And it doesn't make sense to me, because Ventresca was, I wouldn't say he was like hot at the time, but he was pretty popular coming off of Invisible Man.
He's always going to have a fan base as well.
Yeah, I mean, there was a huge, really, honestly, I know now it's like 20 years later, but at the time there was a huge fan base for that show. It just doesn't make sense that this movie didn't come out then, nobody remembers him at this point, but I mean, there was like I said, 4 sci-fi movies that came out. Then he did a bunch of guest starring on TV. He was around. Obviously Friends, but
yeah.
And then right after Invisible Man, he landed another lead in another TV show, and I think a third one as well after that one ended. So I don't know. It's really strange that it came out in 2010, and I can't find any information about it. There's not a whole lot of information on the director, Harris Dunn. He actually is a cinematographer, it looks like, by trade. That's what he does mostly. And this is one of the few films that he actually directed, and he hasn't directed since this film. So I don't know if it's sort of a fallout from the producing company or if it was just deemed a not a great film or whatever it might be. Because people that see this do not typically give this film a good rating. Like the ratings that I've seen, which are scattered, and there's not a whole lot of them, are not generally favorable. It's usually only the people that like noir and recognize it for that really like the film, which is sad to me because I think it's really good.
Yeah.
But there's some sort of history about this film that just I can't find, and I wish that I could figure that out, because when I first saw this film, and I'm surprised that it didn't get released till 2010, because I swear to God I've seen this before that. I swear I've seen it before that, but it's not. And maybe it was originally released on TV and never shown again until 2010, released on DVD or something.
Oh,
I'm not sure.
Maybe.
That could have been, but I can't find anything on it.
Oh, I just checked the director out. You know, he did a film with Luke Perry called Storm. I remember watching that. I used to love that.
Yeah, I remember
I love
that.
the tagline, "You will get wet. You will get wet." And there's a picture of Luke Perry's face. And it just says, Storm.
That had to come out around the time that the Tornadoes movies came out, like the Bill Paxton movie, Twister.
Oh, it's brilliant. Well, I don't know. He's got an aeroplane on his poster, so I remember seeing it and being obsessed with it. And now I don't know why. I'm going to have to watch it again.
Yeah, I do remember that movie, though, because Luke Perry didn't do a whole lot of films, but, you noticed him when there was one with him. That's funny. Maybe that was a Sci-Fi Channel movie.
It looks like one.
Or Asylum, maybe. Asylum did a lot of movies for Sci-Fi.
There's no, dinosaur or anything on the poster, so...
Damn it.
It's not Asylum, because there's no snake or anything.
And one last person shows up in this movie that was interesting. If any of you remember NYPD Blue, Nicholas Turturro was in this, who was fine. He basically was him. He's kind of the same in everything that he's in. But it was in NYPD Blue he was in, right? Or was it that other? Wait, was it? Yeah, it was, right? You don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it says NYPD Blue. Yeah. It
was, okay. I was kind of thinking it was like that. What's that show? Special Victims Unit or Dun Dun.
Law and Order.
Law and Order, yeah.
Dun Dun.
My mother's been on that show.
You should describe TV shows just by making a noise. Dum dum.
Right. Whenever you do that with Millennium, because Millennium does that, everybody's like, "Oh, Law and Order." No, not Law and Order.
That's a dum dum. This is a douche douche.
All right, so getting into this movie. This movie starts out on a pretty bleak note. Alexandra Holden, right?
Yeah.
Are you there? I feel like I'm losing you. I think your internet connection is going out.
Oh, it's probably the monsoon weather sweeping me up.
Yeah, it could be. I don't know. Don't wash away, Carly.
I know. Can't swim, man.
You really?
No.
You can't swim?
No.
Why?
Because I'm scared of water.
Really?
No, I am not. That's why planes terrify me. It's like when they're over the water, I'm like, oh God, oh God, oh God. I can't swim. I can
you won't even know you're over the water.
I can go around in a circle like a dog does, moving my one arm and one leg. That's about it.
Carly paddle.
Yeah, it ain't Baywatch, I tell you what. Streets tried to teach me 3 times and got fed up. He's like, do you know what? Drown.
Oh my god.
Because as soon as it goes in my face, I think that I am drowning. Like, it's not. It's on my face, and I'm like, oh, I'm going down. And he's like, you can touch the floor. For some reason, I just freak out when water goes near my nostril.
Oh boy. That's funny.
And if it gets in my eyes, that's it. Okay, hell. Anyway.
Well, anyway, so this movie starts out pretty bleak. We've got a doctor who is driving home with his wife, and they're getting a little frisky in the car, and they're a little drunk, and they end up hitting a truck, and his wife dies. Because he's driving, obviously, he is sentenced to prison for, what was it, like 5 years or something? It seemed like he got,
I think so, yeah.
A light but decent sentence, and I believe in the beginning of the movie it says that it was involuntary manslaughter, but then later on in the movie says he was sentenced for vehicular manslaughter. So I think he's a little confused about what he was even in jail for. I guess it warps your mind.
Yeah.
But anyways, he went to jail for some sort of manslaughter. Probably, and now I don't know if that'd be involved. Anyway, it doesn't matter. And the movie picks up right away after the car crash with him getting out of prison. We don't get to see what his life's like in there. We don't get to see what happens to him or any of that stuff over the course of 5 years. He's just out, and he's done. He's not going back to the medical world. He's moving on, trying to start a new life. And he stops in this little town called Purgatory Flats. Why would you stop in a town called Purgatory Flats? I guess because you're figuratively, purposely putting yourself in purgatory, and that's what he's doing. This guy blames himself for killing his wife, who he's deeply, madly in love with, and is torturing himself. And that's kind of the sense that you get with this film. So I think it's aptly titled, film for that. I think it's perfect for what he's doing. And right away, I mean, they don't waste a whole lot of time in this film. They give you just enough backstory to give a shit, and then they're moving right along. In classic noir fashion, right? We're introduced to a couple seedy characters in the bar that he, finagles a job with the bar owner. We see a couple of the other seedy characters in the film, and we meet a spitting image of his wife, who is played by Alexandra Holden. And he becomes quickly infatuated with her because she looks so much like his wife.
It's like he blinks and he's in love.
Yeah, and I can understand that because if he's, he killed his wife and he's carrying that, and they obviously had a great relationship. So I can totally understand that. And I'm not 100% certain that the actress that I can't think of her name in the movie, but that this actress doesn't also play his wife, because she really does look a lot like her. But the wife is in the movie so little, it was hard for me to tell, and I didn't look at the credits, unfortunately. But she looks a lot like her. So I totally understand that sort of very quick attachment, infatuation of that, because he's like, I can get this back again kind of thing. And then we find out she's married, and this sort of infatuation takes him on this tailspin of this seedy underground world of, who would have guessed, Purgatory Flats. I guess all this bad shit always happens in all these tiny small towns. You'll have a town of 800 people, but it's got the #1 crime rate in America. That's how this shit
800
works.
people and 600 serial killers, and the other 200 are the victims.
Right. It's it's strange how that works, but it's and I understand the small towns and being sort of saturated with drugs, and that seems to be a common theme, especially in flyover states over here in the U.S. there's nothing to do. There's nothing, nowhere to go, nothing to do. So they're either alcoholics or drug addicts. Not everybody. I'm just saying that it's a common occurrence. It happens. So we get to see that in this small little town. You can see that there's a lot of drug activity going on in this town. You got the cops that are kind of trying their best, but what can they really do? But this family, that Vincent Ventresca's character gets mixed up in, I wouldn't say they're like bad people, but they're not
damaged bunch of people.
Yeah, damaged is a good way to put it. Especially the uncle, played by Greg Henry. I mean, he seems like a pretty good guy until they show you what he's doing to the girl, which isn't great. That makes him, kind of disgusting, but not kind of. He is. But up to that point, like they just seem like they're, like you said, just kind of damaged, and they're just going about their lives and whatnot. And the Brian Austin Green character is just getting mixed up in some bad stuff. He's gone AWOL from, the military, and they're looking for him, and and it's just a bad situation. People making bad choices, and so her fiance or husband, I think they're married.
That's husband, wasn't it? They were married.
Yeah. Right. So he's going to do this drug deal, I guess, buy some drugs or something like that. And I believe that they're going to I can't remember. Were they going to shake him down? Were they going to try to steal the drugs? Can't remember exactly what was going on.
I think so, yeah. They were trying to double cross.
Double cross from whatever. So when the Nicholas Turturro character shows up to do the deal with them, he's already also planning to double cross. So it's a double cross. And everybody gets shot, and whatever. The husband gets shot, the girl gets shot in the arm. And this is where Vincent Ventresca's character comes in. They remember hearing him that he was a doctor, and so they get him to patch up the husband. And he urges him to go to the hospital, that he doesn't have the supplies that he needs, whatever. But anyways, he managed to do it just fine, which was a pretty decent, believable medical sequence, in my opinion.
Yeah, it was like,
Yeah, it wasn't. Most of those end up being kind of cheesy, but I thought that actually, they did a pretty good job with that.
Yeah.
And this fuels his infatuation with the girl, so that keeps going. He gets closer to her, and she seems to be a little standoffish for a little while. Like she holds her, she's married and holds her ground, sort of thing, which, was good, but that slowly changes over time. What did you kind of think of that sort of dynamic? To me, it was very, very classic noir sort of relationship between these two people.
Yeah, it was, because it wasn't just like she was falling at his feet immediately. I like the fact that they were a little bit, it was the family pushing him more on her, like her to be nice to him. Mm-hmm. It was the family that were like, no, he's a doctor, he's going to help us, he can get us supplies, he can do this, be nice to him. And she was kind of like, fucking whatever.
Yeah.
And then he's just there in the corner, like pretending not to smile, like. Did you not notice that? I think they were like, I really could hear that they were like, he can get us drugs, so, just smile at him. And he's just there like, do, that's me.
Yeah, that's true. And I that's what I really loved about the story, because you don't know it when it happens, but she's got motives. So when she finally does loosen up and get close to him, it's not really because she likes him. It's because she came up with an idea. And that was to kill her husband.
She's seen a better opportunity.
Yeah. And God, Vincent's such a sucker.
It is a bit like run out, just go. But then again, they did do a good job of painting her out as the victim, I'd say, for a while. They did a really good job of making her quite a simple character because she'd been so hard on him. When she did start to sort of soften, it was natural. And it looked like she was softening because, you know, he was nicer and he asked her how she was, and it was totally different than what her husband seemed to have been like. And then you realise, oh no, she's a nutcase.
Yeah. I'm going to have to start using the characters' names because I feel like I keep using the cast names and it's just going to get confusing. So just for everybody at home, Vincent Ventresca plays Thomas Reed. Oh shit. You know what I just remembered? I totally forgot I did this. So I liked this movie so much when it came out. When I wrote the script After Dark, which has now become Ashton Falls, I named the lead character Thomas Reed.
I thought that. I was confused for a little while.
Yeah. I totally forgot that I did that though. But yeah, that's where I got that name from, was from this movie. So he gets really drawn in very easily to her, especially when her flip switches and she comes up with her new life scenario. You know, in a lot of ways, this really kind of reminds me of Double Indemnity, with that sort of like, I know there's a lot of noir films, but it just has to do with like them playing off each other, and not being romantically involved like right away, and then hatching the plot of killing the husband. There's just things like that just really kind of remind me of Double Indemnity. But I could honestly say that I was surprised to find that out. Like when he comes back to the house, you know, they do the little sequence of him running in the hot desert and showing up at the house, and then he discovers the photographs in Randy's room with him and Sonny, with Randy and Sonny, and then he like discovers that they had a relationship. The uncle comes in and was like, "Yeah, you didn't know about them, did you?" And that sort of like changes things for him. He's like, "What the hell is going on?" And then you find out that Randy's whole attitude and everything is because he still loves her, kind of thing. And that's why he's so protective of her. I honestly, for whatever reason, and I'm sure it's said somewhere in the movie, but watching it the second time, I thought that they were like brother and sister. And it was just
maybe it was just like had that brother and sister vibe, you know, that closeness that's closer than like friendship, but not as close as like marriage. I thought it was a bit like that as well.
Yeah, and once you discover that they were a couple, it kind of makes more sense, I guess. But throughout the movie, I thought that they were like brother and sister, and you know, the uncle is kind of both their uncles. Not the set. I don't know. I'm sure it's said in there that it's not that way, but I didn't catch it upon this viewing of it. So that was a super like surprise to me watching it the second time. I was like, oh crap! Oh, whoa, really? I don't remember.
This
that.
really is a happy moment.
Yeah. I was like, wow, this really, yeah. So that was, I loved that about it because I totally forgotten major plot points in the film. You know, I've always liked this film, and it's held, you know, a nice place in my memory. But it was great having not seen it for so many years, and then it's almost like seeing it again for the first time, and having not remembered a lot of these major plot points for it. It gets pretty nasty from there on. You know, you find out that
gets pretty dicey very fast.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Once he realizes what's going on, it's like boom, 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 bish, bash, bosh.
Yeah, which is good.
Shovel.
Yeah, it definitely it picks up because, you know, most of the movie is kind of a slower pace film. Like I think they did a great job at the beginning and the ending of the film, where it's, you know, the beginning they don't spend a whole lot of time on the backstory. They give you just enough, you know, information to give a crap, you know, and then moving on, because it's not really about that. It's very in the moment type of movie. You know, although the lead character might dwell on his past a little bit throughout the movie, it's a very in the moment movie. Like we're following this guy in the moment and seeing his decisions and what he's choosing to do and how he gets caught up and stuff. And then you get to the, towards the end here and it just, things start rolling and it's just like, whoa, so I felt like it was a really good pacing and made sense for like that sort of noir style. I feel like a lot of the classic noirs are kind of that way too. There's a lot of stuff going on in the middle that's at a slower pace, but then the resolution just comes in like a furious speed. It's just like, it just happens so quickly. It's like, whoa, what happened? What just happened? What'd they say? I missed what happened. A lot. I've had to do that a couple times with some noir films where I had to like rewatch like the last 5 minutes to catch the piece of dialogue that explained it,
Or which of the 18 twists was the white one?
Right. Like I had to do that with Blue Dahlia. That's one of the ones of recent that I had to. I don't know if you remember that, but there's this whole thing at the end of the film where they sort of explain stuff, and they, I think if I remember right, they retconned the original ending and changed it, and so there was like a lot of dialogue explanation for the plot. But that was one of the ones I remember having to watch the end again to like, what did I miss?
What's going on?
Yeah.
I do have to say I really love the ending.
I'm going to let you take over because I feel like I've been talking forever and I want you to jump in here.
Because you like this film. I can't believe I'd never seen it before, to be fair.
Yeah. So
I put off watching it twice.
You put off watching it twice?
Yeah, I thought it was going to be really boring. When I looked at the poster, I thought, oh.
Oh, I don't mind. It was pretty good. It should be Ventresca up there instead of Brian Austin Green, but whatever.
Yeah, it should be. Well, there's not really a lot, is there? I was saying that I liked it when he delivers it to the police, just like locks her in the car. Up yours, Dad. Did you not like that bit?
Yeah, I did.
That's just what you deserve, you horrible little witch.
Yeah.
It was so sad. It's been a long time since I watched a film that was that satisfying of an ending where they didn't die.
Right.
Especially when she's screaming like, I love you. Up yours. See you later. I'm off to the next town. Toodles. I can't remember if his mate comes and picks him up, the one that he originally was like, don't give me a lift. I'm done with life. I can't remember if his friend comes like, do you want to get in the car now? Okay.
I'm happy that he came to a senses kind of thing. Like, you know what I mean? Like he could have very easily just said, fuck it. Okay, whatever. But he's still a good guy. Like he's still, you know what I mean? Like he wasn't so far gone that he's just like, I don't, sure. Let's do some horrible things. What he's done in his past was not on purpose. It was on accident. And I think that's one of the cool things about his character is that his character doesn't actually change. He's still the same person he was in the beginning. And that's not a usual thing.
Just whether his past affects his future, and obviously he decided not to by just locking it, because he could have killed her. Right.
Yeah. His whole story in this movie is just, he's sad, he's mad at himself. He blames himself until the end. And then he comes around, so he doesn't really have much of an arc, and I'm cool with that. It's an interesting way to tell this story, opposed to him saying, okay, screw it. Let's do this, which I probably wouldn't have liked as much, because then that turns him into a bad guy as well.
Yeah, because he got stuck in all this by trying to save him. If he'd have just walked off and left him, none of this would have happened.
But I mean, that's part of the Hippocratic Oath of being a doctor, though. They weren't going to take him to a hospital, right? So he couldn't let him die.
Yeah, couldn't leave him.
Yeah, so I get that. That's totally fine. And that's the reason why I like this character, is like he's actually a good person. A lot of times noir characters, they're not great people. Not saying that they don't have their reasons, but they're generally not great people. It's kind of, a rarity. They usually get tied up in shit because they're morally ambiguous. He's not morally ambiguous. He's just hurting. You know? Everybody else is morally ambiguous, definitely, including Carly. Can't swim? Jesus.
Hey. I should really, because it's fucking rains a lot here. Did you not feel sorry for him when he got that job in the park? Because they just yelled at him.
Oh.
Yeah. Did you not feel sorry for him? They just yelled at him. And there's a guy that was like pissed off his nut, who wobbled off his chair to go in his car. And he was like, I'm not saving you, give me your car keys. And then they fired him or whatever. What's that about?
Well, yeah, you know, I didn't feel sorry for him. I mean, that was inevitable. He's not a bartender. The dude went through like 100 years of college to become a doctor. You know what I mean? So he's not going to purposely...
Some advice on liver problems.
Yeah, he's not going to keep feeding some dude who's killing himself, you know, with liquor. He's just not going to keep feeding it to him. He's going to be like, hey, man, you know, he did exactly what he did. I mean, that's why he's such a good guy, you know? Because the job didn't matter.
It's like, just go and get in the taxi and go. It's not going to end well if you've just been fired for being a nice guy.
Yeah, I didn't feel bad for him. I you know, I was happy because he stuck to his guns. He did the right thing and that kind of thing. It's as small of a thing as it might have been because that guy's just going to be back in the bar tomorrow. Still, I mean that's what made that character shine because. You know, he's just always doing the right thing, you know, no matter what he's faced with, because they're constantly trying to get him to do bad stuff, you know, and the worst thing he does is take part, I think, in the stealing of the medicine. Yeah. And, I mean, even that was not without purpose, right? So he was trying to save a life.
Yeah, it was to help the guy.
Right. So it's all forgiven. All right, Carly, I think it's time to rate this movie.
Yay!
What you got?
9.
9.
9.
Nice.
9.
Love it.
9. I didn't give it a 10 because it's a bit TV movie style. I don't know. There's just something about it that makes me not love it enough to be a 10.
Yeah. I am right with you. I give the movie a 9 as well. And it has to do with the same exact issue. It's not necessarily that it's a low budget film that bothers me. That doesn't bother me at all. I think the storyline is perfect for its budget. It's just the way that it's shot. In some areas, it just seems like it's a TV film. Like maybe the scheduling was too fast paced and they had to get stuff done. You know, there's certain areas, like you don't really get to see a good shots of the bar or anything. Everything in the bars are like close-ups, you know.
Yeah, there's nothing. Everything's just very done. There's nothing. Yeah.
There's not a whole lot of inspiring set dressing or any of that stuff. You know, it's just, it's very basic in a lot of areas such as that. So it doesn't have a sort of cinematic quality. And it's weird though, because there's some stuff in the film that has that. So I feel like maybe it's an editing issue more so than anything else, because I feel like the DP was, you know, I think he was, it seemed like he had a good quality to him. Like he was able to do this because there's plenty of stuff that looked good.
Maybe just restricted. Maybe he had his hands tied a little bit. It's something visually, isn't it, that just doesn't sit quite right? Yeah. And it just comes down to the shot choices, I think. And I'm not sure if that's DP or director, or editing. There's no telling. It's, you know, obviously it's one of the three, but, I'm going to say editing because there's definitely a lot of editing issues that I have with the movie. They don't let some of the characters' emotions play out long enough. And, you know, just some little things bother me because there really is honestly some good acting in this film. In my opinion, like I think everybody does a really good job in this movie. So sometimes when they're cut short in their performances, that bothers me because you could be quite a bit more emotionally attached if they had just edited it slightly different.
So yeah, I fully agree with you on that. It does have sort of a TV film vibe, unfortunately. And I think that comes from, most likely, in my opinion, probably from the editing and the music. The music is dreadful. It just feels mostly like canned music. It doesn't seem like it was actually scored. So just that twangy, which is fine. Like, I get it. I mean, they're trying to tell you this is a middle of nowhere town, but you only need to do it once when he gets there, and that's it, you know? Yeah. Then let the drama play. But they obviously had a tough time with that editorially, and maybe that's why it didn't come out for 7 years or whatnot. But I still love it. I still think it's a great film. I think Ventresca is awesome as always. Greg Henry is great. He's great in everything that he does. Opposed to what a lot of reviewers out there saying that Brian Austin Green was terrible, I thought he was pretty decent. It made me like him more than I did before, so that's a plus. Yep, 9 gin bottles out of 9, and 9 from Carly.
Yay!
There you have it, guys. That is our long-winded, overtly complicated, mispronunciated review of Purgatory Flats.
And a declaration of how much you love Vincent Ventresca.
Oh, God, I love the dude. He's amazing.
Yeah.
I'll watch him in anything. I really will.
I will now as well.
Yeah.
Hey, did you see the Romeo and Michelle's high school reunion?
I did, yeah. When I originally saw the movie, I didn't know who he was. Like I didn't even remember him being in there. But later on, I had discovered he was in it and went back and rewatched it. He doesn't have a huge part or anything, but he's in there, definitely. But yeah, so there you guys go. I hope you check out this movie. You can find it on Amazon Prime. There's a DVD available. It is in 4:3, 1.33 aspect ratio, so be prepared for that. But it's definitely worth watching. Introduce yourself to Vincent Ventresca if you don't know who he is. Then after you've seen this, maybe go back and watch The Invisible Man, which was a Sci-Fi Channel show from 2000, 2001. He's just amazing. And I'm also going to plug this other Vincent movie, which is hilarious to me. It was one of the Sci-Fi Channel movies, but it's called Larva. It's got another name. I don't know what it is, but Larva is the perfect name for it. If you find that one, watch it. He's hilarious. The movie's fun. It's just a campy sci-fi monster movie, but it's a really fun movie. It's probably the best one that Sci-Fi did with him in it. So check that out as well. And I think he did like an Abominable Snowman one as well. Anyway.
I feel like you're really trying hard for that email that you're going to send to him. Like, oh, we got you like 25 new fans. We got your new views on your film.
Hey, do what you can.
I did this Facebook thing a while ago. So when you combine the sort of 5, I mean, yeah, you do kind of owe us. So, I mean...
Everybody needs a champion, all right? I think he's great. I think he's a fun actor. So check him out. All right, guys, there you have it. Purgatory Flats. That's it for me and Carly. We will see you guys on the next one. Until then.
Bye-bye.
He's looking at you, kid.
Thanks for joining us this week on the Speakeasy Noircast. Make sure to visit our website, resurrectionfilms.net, where you can subscribe to the show on iTunes, Stitcher, or any of your favorite podcast apps so you'll never miss a show. While you're at it, if you found value in the show, we'd appreciate a rating on iTunes, or if you'd simply tell a friend about the show, that would help us out too. If you like the show, you might want to check out our book, The Dark Side of Acting Up, and The Dark Side of Acting Up Volume 2, now available on Amazon. Or you can check out one of our films, also available on Amazon Prime. Be sure to tune in next week for another episode of the Speakeasy Noircast.